Alright, so there's somebody selling a used Worm Factory 360 for a good price, 50 bucks. It's a 4-tier one and it's full of worms. So I just decided I'm gonna go pick it up. And he's nearby, lives not too far from me. So yeah, that's brand new. That Worm Factory is about $120. And so with the worms included, that's actually a pretty good deal, because if it's a well-established bin, there could be thousands of worms in there. So normally the worms cost about $20 to $30 a pound, or per thousand. So yeah. It wasn't as established as I thought. The top 2 tiers are actually empty, so it looks like he harvested. The bottom one is full, and this one, the second one, he just started on. So there's still quite a bit of worms in there. So for 50 bucks, honestly, it's still a great deal. He didn't have all the extra items, but he said he's gonna give them to me later this week. He just had them somewhere else. So I think I'm gonna be able to fit it right here next to this one. I'm just gonna move things around a little and bring it in. Alright, well, there's 2 now. So one thing that I'm happy about, that I'm looking forward to, is, you know, I ended up, this used to be a 4 tray unit, and then I ended up buying an extra 2 trays. The only thing I don't like about that is the fact that with the extra 2 trays, the unit becomes super heavy. So every time I have to switch out the bottom tray, I end up having to separate out the middle trays, because it's just so heavy to lift the whole thing, and if I do, I feel like I'm gonna throw my back out. So with this one, I'll at least put one of these 6 over there, and it'll be 5 and 5, so it'll be 1 tray less heavy. I also don't like separating the trays, because that disturbs the worms a lot, and if there's worms in between trays and you pull them apart, sometimes you risk hurting them as well. So I look forward to these 2 being a little lighter. That way I can maybe lift the whole thing without having to separate the trays. So anyway, let's take a look at what's inside. And just you know, the Worm Factory, the company says that you can go up to 7 trays, but I would definitely not recommend it. I would say 4 is really good. You could go 5, 6 at the most. Anyway, so when I got there, I think he had just harvested maybe these 2 trays, these top 2, and it looks like he just threw some food on top recently, but which I'm gonna cover before it turns into a mess of flies. But anywho, so if you look over here, there are a lot of worms right there. Yeah, so this is pretty full of worms. Over here, they're definitely enjoying this stuff. I'm gonna continue to feed them. Yeah, there's a lot. So they're all concentrated right there, I think, because they're feeding on the food that he put down. So this looks like just regular compost or something. Okay. Yeah, so overall, pretty happy with it. I would assume there's not as many worms as I thought there might be, but I can tell you for a fact this is at least, it looks to me like at least 1 pound of worms, and I'm sure there's plenty hidden under there. So I would say, and those, again, pound of worms usually you could buy for about 25 to 30 bucks. So yeah, this is a decent purchase. So sometimes you can find good deals like these either on Craigslist or whatever other app you use for used stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get some of my compost and just kind of throw it in here to cover this up.